you've got time. Even though life sometimes does feel short, I think you've got to balance that idea that life is short and also you've got time. Sometimes I've just got to keep clocking myself. You're not doing enough. You're doing too much. And I think it's this seesaw of sitting in the middle of it. And that's, in a sense, the essence of life, of what you have to do. This left side isn't right. This right side isn't right. This left side isn't wrong. The right side isn't wrong. It's meeting the middle. It's this balance. Teetering over, I'll get a bit of dopamine from a scroll and from junk food, but I'll also exercise. I'll also read a book. I have these limits and know when it's too much. And I think an example is when you get addicted to drugs or addicted to things, it becomes an obsession. It becomes too much. And the perfect point is the balance. And don't get me wrong, it is still good to overload yourself on one side to correct you. It's that correction that is the lesson, the correction that is the value. So it's not like stay straight and narrow, boring life. It's a sense of understand that sometimes life's going to be going fast. Sometimes you need to slow down. This thought of, I think I need to slow down, might only need to slow down slightly or for a certain amount of time. It just fascinated me, the thought of that, the things I was seeing scrolling this morning and the ideas I was getting about life and thinking, God, I am so happy. In a sense, I feel like I have made it, so sit in it and feel that peace rather than worry that one day it might go or these thoughts that take you away from that moment you're in. These are the good times. This is the moment to live. And if you have that most of the time, you're always living the life how it should be. Even when you're in the struggle, it's like, this is what we're meant to be living in for when the good times come, or this is what we're meant to be living in because these are the lessons we're going to experience. So thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking on the video. Just want to let you know that I also post on Spotify if you just want to give it a listen. Say you don't finish watching. And I post the best bits on TikTok, Shorts, Instagram. So check them out as well. Link is in the description. But yeah, enjoy. So today I wanted to talk about slowing things down. Because sometimes I do get a sense that it is better to slow things down. Which I think I always get that sense when I'm doing too much or when things are a bit intense or hyped or there's a lot to do. It's never when I'm being lazy. I think I've got to slow things down. And to be fair, I think when I'm posting this video, I'm actually on holiday, which is slowing things down. But I think I get into a habit of you add these things, you see that you've got spare time. You see that you've got, right, I need to do that. And here's free time. Let's fucking do it. And then everything starts getting filled up and you've not really got a minute to slow down, to do things in a slower fashion. I wonder about it all the time when it comes to life and it comes to fitting everything in, because I was thinking this morning, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with my life and there's so much going on. What would life look like if I did slow down? If life was a little bit slower? If I didn't do this? Previous to me starting filming, I wasn't happy. I was actually very unhappy. And then I figured it out through ayahuasca, which led me to doing this in the end. But I've never had that time of being happy where it's sort of just me and it's slower. I don't think it would happen. I think if I stopped doing this, I would fill that time with something else. And that's what I'm talking about. That habit of filling your time speeds everything up. I don't know what it is, but this morning I was thinking about the comparison between being a kid And being an adult and the perspective of time, I don't know, in my memories, time seems so slow as a kid. I mean, I guess it sometimes does in memories, but compared to now, everything seems slower. Obviously, you don't really necessarily have a solid grasp on the world when you're younger, but it's weird that now for me, everything seems so fast. Days can feel like Groundhog Day. I mean, I hate that feeling. I used to get it a lot more than I do now. And in a weird way, to fix that, you do kind of just have to get on with it. And it's, some of your days get a bit repetitive, get a bit robotic. And you're just going to make sure that you switch it up on the weekends, or, you know, life will also make your weeks feel different in whatever way it can, by things happen, tragedies happen, or good things happen, new exciting things come up on the horizon. I mean, yeah, especially when you have the mindset to be pushing for more, you know, things do actually change. But when I run through my day during the week, I wake up at 5, I do all the stuff I need to do, I leave the house, I film a video sometimes, I get to work, I work my hours, I finish at what, 4, 5, and then go to the gym, stay there, and don't leave till about 7:30, 7. Then I get home, take the dogs on a walk, and try and get an early-ish night. Read a book, eat some food, and then that's the day done. That's my Monday to Thursday most of the time. And that can feel like Groundhog Day. I say Monday to Thursday. It is at the moment Monday to Friday, that exact same thing. But it's repetitive. It's in a rhythm. I've got myself in a rhythm. The way I can go to the gym is I turn it into a system. I turn it into, this is what you do. And it becomes robotic and it becomes Groundhog Day. And then you live a bit for the Saturday, Sunday. I live a bit more, should I say, for Saturday, Sunday, because, you know, going to the gym does give me pleasure. It's not like I'm trapped and forced to do it. Also, with the things I have to do, take the dogs on a walk, you find the pleasure in that. But I always think when I come home, or when I finish work, or even when I wake up in the morning, I always think, I've got to do this. I've got to get this done. This is what I've got to do. Do it. The odd tasks, I've got to squeeze these tasks in between. I've got to edit on my dinner at work. I've got to edit in the gym while I'm on the bike or the treadmill or whatever. Right, I've got half an hour here, I've got 10 minutes there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with a task that's productive. And it's strange when you do that, because you don't necessarily have the time of things being slow. Your time is always filled. Even, let's say, reading a book, I've got to pick a book that I enjoy, and I'm reading through it quickly because it's entertaining me, it's grabbing me, and it's still this feeling of doing something. How many of us in our lives have silence? And then the other side of this coin is, if I have too much silence, I get lazy. I don't feel good. I feel better when things are typed, when I've got things on. And I always wonder about, is that healthy? Is that unhealthy? Got to find a balance between that. And I'm talking about, when I think of a dream life, I think of a slow life. A slow life with a purpose and plodding along. And I sometimes think we dream of a life for so long that we forget to look at what life we're living and how we can, I don't know, cheat a bit and get that into reality. And I think for me, one of the things I look at sometimes is maybe slow it down, maybe adjust your expectation for the day, you know, because sometimes I'll get home and I'll think, I've got an hour, I've got half an hour just to chill, or to do this, to get home and watch that. And I don't come home and think, you know, that's my day, actually. This is my day. And if I just accept that that's my day, there's not this rush, even a rush to slow down, a rush to get to peace. I think if I just accepted that, in a sense, it is what it is, or the way it is, because sometimes it's like, I want to rush off to bed to read my book. You forget to speak to your girlfriend properly. You forget to connect, or you forget to connect with your dogs, or reflect on the day. You know, there's these tasks that I've got to get in because they give me so much pleasure. And that's one thing people don't tell you. When you do achieve happiness, fulfillment, and peace, I use those three words because that to me is what fully sums up what I've always wanted and what I feel. And they don't tell you that you do have to start picking and choosing what makes you happy. If you get into a state of mind where there's so many things out there that would give me joy, would give me happiness, would make me feel fulfilled, you've almost got to restrict yourself, or you do have no time. You do run out of time because you know there's so much that will make you happy. That there's so much you've got to do. Because you've got to live. Because one, you've got into this mindset and you never used to be in this mindset of pure joy, pure fulfillment and peace. So you're going to make the most of it. Not that it's going to disappear. I used to wait for it to disappear, and it kind of did, and I got it back. So there's no fear of it disappearing. It sort of is who I am now. And I think about this rushing around to do as much as you can that gives you joy, that you miss out on the true beauties of life. The connecting with people, the talking, the slowing it down, the peace. You know, I get it on my Instagram, little poems, and I might read it and move on. No, read it and sit. How does it make you feel? Those sort of things, that's the idea I'm talking about when it comes to slowing things down, to actually feel everything, to feel certain things and not just have your day go by. And I think that's what causes a bit of Groundhog Day, is you're moving on so quickly that things become repetitive. Whereas each day, realistically, there's so many thoughts, emotions, and actions that actually do change. They're just small. But because they're small in comparison to what you want to get done, they get lost. And back to talking about that dream life, that you might have this idea of what you want from your life. You know, I think I heard it on a podcast, but there was two fellas talking to each other, and it was like, do you still think one day you'll have abs? And they were both laughing at each other and saying, yeah, but they're in the 40s or whatever, 50s. And that is the idea. I think to myself, you know, I'm going to get muscles, I'm going to get jacked, I'm going to get abs, I'm going to have this body that you're proud of. And I've been thinking of it since I was, 15? I know it's, for some people, it's not a long time, but for me, it's like 10 years, but you don't have it yet. Don't get me wrong, I don't have an awful body. I still go to the gym and all that. But there's this idea, the point is, there's this idea, there's this aim, or this, what's the word? It's like this expectation on how things are going to be in your dreams. And they don't really ever come true, or you don't dedicate so much time to them. You know, me having abs, it's not something I'm going to sit down and dedicate my life to and sacrifice things to get abs. They're not worth it enough for me to want to do that. I kind of want to do it as a side thing that they then turn up, which it might not be the case. You know, you want to also eat what you eat. You want to get your body in a state of being healthy with the things you eat, and also balancing it with pleasure. And would you sacrifice that to have abs? You know, there's all these things, but I have an expectation sometimes in what life is, what the dream life is, that you forget to actually live now. You forget to actually experience now and slow it down and say, listen, if we slowed it down, we would feel more. You would feel more of the peacefulness and joy that you're actually living in and experiencing now, rather than thinking too much into the future or thinking of the things you want. It's all about thinking of the things you have, the tool of appreciation. Obviously, it's easier said than done, and sometimes I think it's just moments. For these past, well, I was going to say for these past couple of months, I'm busy. But I always feel like that, and I always feel like I need a rest. I sometimes think, is it more counterproductive because you get less done because you feel like you need a rest? In a sense, I feel more lazy, or I feel lazier, should I say, when you're busier sometimes, because I just want to rest, because you've got so much going on, because it always feels like there's so much to do. There's this feeling that it's almost like, because you're becoming an adult and you've got so many responsibilities, there's so many things I've got to do, and there's so little time for myself. That's what you crave. And it's finding, I found that it's finding this balance. And sometimes as well, a holiday will do you good. I might have a different perspective when I come off the holiday. I normally do, because you've had that rest. But I wonder if it's not about the rest, the busy rest. Busy rest. Sometimes I think what if it's more steady, more of a straight line rather than up and down, or gradual up and downs, than so intense. Slow things down, have less of an expectation of what your days are going to be like, and slowly build it up to a reality. I always think about it, to get abs on a treadmill, if you're doing 20 minutes a day every single day, rather than doing 2 hours for 2 days, you know, what's more productive? The 2 hours might exhaust you, but the 20 minutes are easier to do, and you would probably do it every day. And that's the comparison I'm making when it comes to slowing things down. And I get a sense that that's what would make me happy. But it's difficult to do because there's so much good shit in the world to do, and there's also so much responsibility, so many responsibilities that you have. And I'm not even at the peak time of how much responsibility I actually have in my life. And it's not this dire situation where I'm desperate to slow things down to cope. I was just thinking this morning, what would it be like if you reduce these expectations every day? That I have to get so much done, because I was thinking what happens is I build up all these tasks that need doing for the weekend, because I can't do any during the week, because I want an hour to myself, half an hour to myself or whatever. But if you just did one little task every day, even though I am exhausted, if you just fit one in, I wonder what it's like. I wonder if that slows things down. Or you have this expectation of, listen, no tasks during the week. No tasks during the week. But when it gets to weekend, you've got a list, you do the list, you have your day, you have your weekend. I wonder how realistic that actually is. I probably do none of what I just said. That's the reality of life. Life sort of takes me sometimes. Life gets a bit too busy. I put so much on my plate because I want to do more. I want more, or I see an opportunity. Like I said, those 10 minutes, right, get your phone out, edit. See those 10 minutes, right, get your phone out, do this, figure this out. There's so much that I want to know and do and experience that, like I said, it gets away from you sometimes. Sometimes it's like, listen, you can't do all that. And even though the days are going fast, hopefully you've got the rest of your life for these things. Hopefully you live till you're 100, if you can do. And in that sense, you've got time. Even though life sometimes does feel short, I think you've got to balance that idea that life is short and also you've got time. Sometimes I've just got to keep clocking myself. You're not doing enough. You're doing too much. And I think it's this seesaw of sitting in the middle of it. And that's, in a sense, the essence of life, of what you have to do. This left side isn't right. This right side isn't right. This left side isn't wrong. The right side isn't wrong. It's meeting in the middle. It's this balance. Teetering over, I'll get a bit of dopamine from a scroll and from junk food, but I'll also exercise. I'll also read a book. I have these limits and know when it's too much. And I think an example is when you get addicted to drugs or addicted to things, it becomes an obsession. It becomes too much. And the perfect point is the balance. And don't get me wrong, it is still good to overload yourself on one side to correct you. It's that correction that is the lesson, the correction that is the value. So it's not like stay straight and narrow, boring life. It's a sense of understand that sometimes life's going to be going fast. Sometimes you need to slow down. This thought of, I think I need to slow down, might only need to slow down slightly or for a certain amount of time. It just fascinated me, the thought of that, the things I was seeing scrolling this morning and the ideas I was getting about life and thinking, God, I am so happy. In a sense, I feel like I have made it, so sit in it and feel that peace rather than worry that one day it might go, or these thoughts that take you away from that moment you're in. These are the good times. This is the moment to live. And if you have that most of the time, you're always living the life how it should be. Even when you're in the struggle, it's like, this is what we're meant to be living in for when the good times come, or this is what we're meant to be living in because these are the lessons we're going to experience. But peace.